has failed to comply with a 48-hour ultimatum to return to work. They were allegedly ordered to return to work on 8 November but failed to show up. The municipality said numerous engagements with the workers to convince them to return to work with a 48-hour ultimatum to return to work. In the last 24 hours, the cumulative number of COVID-19 cases identified in South Africa is 2,925,677, with 306 new cases reported. In the last 24 hours, 7 deaths have been reported, bringing the total to 89,476 deaths so far. The cumulative number of recoveries now stands at 2,819,579, with a recovery rate of 96.4%. 23,911,477 people have been vaccinated so far. In your sports, Makazola Mapimpi's ability to score tries is so ruthless that it borders on pure simplicity, and it's a trait that extends to his off-field persona. Despite lighting up Merrifield with a stunning brace in the Springboks' 30-15 victory over Scotland on Saturday, the insatiable winger was typically humble and unfussy in stating that he was merely doing his job. Mapimpi twice showed his searing pace to round off swift, incisive attacking moves from 10-over possession, which had other common contributors on both occasions in Lucanio M, Willie Leroux, Damien de Allende. His latest exploit meant he scored against every test-playing nation that he's played against, and also gives him the best try-scoring ratio for any Springbok that has played 20 or more tests. And Ireland beat New Zealand for the third time in the past 5 years in a stunning 29-20 victory in Lansdowne Road on Saturday. The Irish ran in tries from New Zealand-born wing James Lowe, Ronan Kerr and Kellen Doris in a gripping test in front of a raucous 51,000 crowd. And the Farrell side go into the final in November test with Argentina on a run of 79 successive victories. And in your weather, Pretoria will be cloudy and hot with temperature highs of 32 degrees with extensive thunder showers. Johannesburg partly cloudy and hot with temperature highs of 29 degrees. Cape Town cloudy and hot with temperature highs of 26 degrees. Durban cloudy and warm with temperature highs of 23 degrees with scattered thunder showers. Bloemfontein will be sunny and hot with temperature highs of 32 degrees. Polokwane cloudy and hot with temperature highs of 30 degrees with extensive thunder showers. Uppington sunny and hot with temperature highs of 37 degrees. And Port Elizabeth partly cloudy and warm with temperature highs of 22 degrees. East London cloudy and warm with temperature highs of 23 degrees. For Vuga Online Radio News, I am Mongas Makalima.
No one decides to go into debt. It creeps up on you. Slowly. Debt follows debt, follows debt. Unless you do something about it. Face your debt problems before they cripple you. It's time to do something.
Where we play your music your way all day, every day.
This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.
I know exactly what you're thinking. I've had those thoughts a million times. I can see the question that's behind your eyes. Oh, you're searching for your peace of mind. Now listen up to this truth. You are me and I am you. Every one of us is worthy. Baby, girl, worthy woman. Every one of us is worthy. I know your life, I felt your pain. I know your joys and your shames. Sometimes it feels like life walks over you, or like you're a penny on the ground. But either on the ground or in your purse, the smallest piece still holds its worth. Every one of us is worthy. Baby girl, worthy woman, every one of us is worthy. Baby girl, worthy woman, every one of us is worthy. Worthy of love, worthy of life, worthy of saying no when something don't feel right. This is a song for you, for all the ups and downs that life will put you through. Oh, so listen up to this truth. You are me and I am you. Every one of us is worthy. Yeah, baby girl, worthy woman, every one of us is worthy. Baby girl, worthy woman, every one of us is worthy. Baby girl, worthy woman, every one of us is worthy. Baby girl, worthy woman, every one of us is worthy. Every one of us is worthy. Every one of us is worthy.
The home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
Countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
views,
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
sports,
What's he saying? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
and music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.
Broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
It's Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.
Welcome to another episode of Phepheng-Spirituality. The name is Makau Katide, and today I have a very special guest. I know I say that every day, like I have a special guest, like every day. But this friend of mine here is very, very special. Before I introduce him, let me tell you a story so that you understand how way back I come with this man. One time we go clubbing, right? In our days before we grew up, we go clubbing. So we had a habit of going clubbing, and then we'd have a stash of the unholy water. And with that stash, we go to the door. They said, "Hey, you're not coming in with that stuff." And what happened was we had to finish that stuff. Or it was a bottle of whiskey, I think. And then we ended up passing out at the entrance of a club, and we never went to the club. So we go way back, more than 20 years.
I love the story, that one, man. Like, I mean, just off the bat, you start with that story. Oh my gosh, man. What are we going to talk about here?
Worry not. There's shocking stuff that's coming. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to welcome my friend. I'd like to say, an international artist, Thabiso Phepheng. How are you, sir?
Good and you. I'm glad to be here, and hello to your audience.
Yeah. Now, what's important is that, a lot of people say, so what is an artist doing on Phepheng-Spirituality? We always find people that have interesting stories, that have stories that will inspire others, that have stories that will be a catalyst in whatever, in a movement, in a cause. So we chat to people. Now, today's topic is simply titled Art and Spirituality. But before we get into that, let's take a quick break, pay our bills, because apparently we owe bills. Pay our bills, and then when we come back, we'll just jump right at it and chat with Thabiso. So see you after the break.
Scamander!
Scamander!
Tim, our numbers are dropping. Apart from our cash cow in the spiritual department in Midupe, people's budgets are just too tight for our usual scams. Emmanuel, 419s are reaping nickels and dimes. Chris, crypto trading and forex schools are failing. We need something digital, something vibey, something that will capture the hearts and the wallets of South Africans everywhere, né?
Fellow South Africans, we can't afford to be taken for another ride. But you can afford the new Nando's Prager and chips for just 49 Rand. No scams, just Jim.
Right here, right now, the best tunes of all times.
Okay, welcome back to PK Unshackled. You're spending your Sunday morning with Makau Katide and international artist Thabiso Phepheng, formerly known as Mzansi Artist. My friend, please tell the viewers and the listeners out there, who is Thabiso Phepheng?
The long version or the short version?
The long shot.
The long shot version. Right, so Thabiso Phepheng is, well, I would say I hail from Tabanshu. Born in Sebokeng, and then had my longer years of growth in Tabanshu, the former Budatswana, part of the former Budatswana, and basically went as far as, or started the art there at the age of 10 or around 9, and went through with the art up until today. So that's the short version.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is that, you know, I think we studied in the same university around the same years, right? And you have just carried on with your art. You have a very distinct form of art, a very distinct style, and you know, you've created your name internationally through your art. Now, my question is, according to you, because I ask a lot of people about their spirituality, and people, you know, would always say, because they're Christian, they'd always say this about about the spirituality. You know, I ask Izangoma, they say this about the spirituality, and the general belief is that, you know, artists don't have spirituality. You know, it's like you just you're now. What's your take? What's your take when it comes to your spirituality? What centers Thabiso Phepheng?
Okay. I think with this one, I'll start off by saying, like, I do come from a Christian family, very staunch Christian family, Methodist. Both of my parents play a big part in the church. Played a big part in the church ever since, even till today. I could tell you that there's a lot of influences that would lead me to move slightly away from that construct, if I may call it, because of how I grew up. I essentially grew up in Tabanshu, like I said, and I went to a multiracial school inside the town, and we were English medium, but we were living inside a township, sort of. I don't know if that makes sense. So you would find, I would start realizing how difficult it was for me to communicate or to understand the church system in the townships, because I was detached from that. The language in my ear was English, and what was being taught in the churches was Sesotho. You know, the books were in Sesotho. Sunday schools were there in Sesotho, Setswana. So it started there with me, because then kids would be scorning you, like calling you a coconut and all that stuff, you know, like, you know. So I slowly started having a little bit of a resentment towards the whole system, starting from there. later on, fast forward, I would do my first year in Victoria, and I think this would be the first time, 1999. This would be the first time I actually started learning about the art history, and we start deconstructing humanity and life in general. As we all know, God created the world on the 7 days, or the 6 days, and that is where the art history starts. Then they started breaking down like eras in art history where things were shaped in certain ways. So I would now go back to art. I would now look at the art history books as a validation of all these strange thoughts I used to have about the Bible and religion in general. We got to learn about how things look like, as opposed to how things should be like or should be traced like. But we were taught physically how things looked like at that time, and how they were made, and why it was made, and all those things, and that added a little pinch into the main spiritual ideology that I have right now, which is I believe in a higher power, and I believe in humanity, and I can't really sway to a certain system in the religion itself anymore. I can't follow a certain doctrine or movement. I know that there's good there's good that comes from that higher power that wishes good for humanity, and I know that humanity is actually good, and I know that there's bad and there's good. Correct. I just have those two things. I know that this is not right. If that person feels like this, that's not great. If that person's crying because I did something, that's not cool. So I go about it this way. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm touching here and there.
No. I mean, it's your truth. What's important about this show is that you are telling us about your truth, and we are getting a greater understanding of a approach of an artist to this whole dimension of religion, of venerating a higher power. Like I always say, if you're comfortable with your truth, I'm happy for you. We cannot be a society that that scares people into heaven. Like, hey, if you don't do this, you go cry in heaven. We can't. But what's important is that even as an artist, there is a level of spirituality. You understand? I mean, a majority of artist friends of mine, they're atheists. As a matter of fact, they don't believe in the existence of any higher being. Like, the world is a canvas and a pencil. That's all that's important. Now, in your journey, right, as an artist, did you ever look into Ntontsabadimo? Have you ever asked yourself for it outside Christianity, right? You talk of African indigenous religions, and they center on Ntontsabadimo.
Mm-hmm.
What happened when you asked yourself that question?
Oh no, that one I grew up with. That's something that I grew up with culturally. This is like, I mean, where do I start? I mean, my grandmother's basically runs, or used to run, and she's quite old now, but she used to run a sort of institution. I mean, she was like, what do we call this? She was like she ran an institution. She taught people. She practiced and she taught, And so I grew up with this in my house. This is not new to me. And do I consider it as a religion? No. I perhaps looked at it more as it's more spiritual, cultural than religion. I didn't see any rules. I can't say there's rules that are followed in scripture form or in ritual form that are similar to a church system or all the religious systems. This one's like it had a uniqueness about it. It had a vibe about it. It also dealt with one personality. Like there was an individual connection. So yes, I do believe in that.
Okay. So let's take a quick break. After the break, we'll chat some more with Daddy. After the break.
You say you love me, I say I love you. Well, why don't you stop your crying, dry your weeping? You know I love you, Ruby. Here I rub upon my belly like water jelly. Ruby, child, here I am. Come rub upon my belly like water jelly. You say you need me, I say I need you too. Baby, why don't you stop your crying and dry your weeping eyes? Girl, you know I love you, Ruby. I said, here I am. Come rub upon my belly like water jelly. Yeah, Ruby, child, here I am. Come rub upon my belly like guava jelly. Guava jelly. Oh, rub it on my belly. Rub my guava jelly. Oh, rub it on my belly. Rub it, Ruby. Guava jelly. Ooh, rub it on my belly. Rub my guava jelly. Just like guava jelly. Oh, rub it on my belly. Guava jelly. Oh, rub it on my belly.
Look for Starbucks coffee in a grocery store near you, then sit back and enjoy the exceptional taste of Starbucks at home.
You're listening to Vuga Online.
You are rocking with the best.
Welcome back to PK Unshackled. I'm spending my time with a good friend of mine, Baba U Thabiso Phepheng. Now, Thabiso, so you are in a foreign country, right?
Yep.
miles away.
Oh man, kilometers,
You know,
thousands of kilometers.
in Switzerland, to be precise. Now, one thing I've realized about how we were taught, right, as Africans, is that everything is collective. So, when you talk of religion, you talk collectivism. So, when you talk of spirituality, you also talk of collectivism. So, here you are, miles away from home, and you know, there's no people that you can say, hey, or let's go to church together. What sustains you, man, except the beer that you have in your hand?
All right. So spiritual connection. I think it exists in my mind. I think I'm more in tune with my mind. I have conversations I get in touch with back home through digital platforms now, which makes it a lot easier. But as far as like rituals and stuff is concerned, like people do practice. There's some people that do that, you know, but coming from where I come from, like that small family cell that I come from, we were not really practicing that much. It was only me, my brother, and my mom and my dad. So they more taught me and my brother to be individualists and to question stuff and to make up our minds on stuff. So yeah, like it was more an individualist type of approach that they had on us. So me moving here, I don't feel detached. Maybe I miss mom, sure. I don't feel detached from the spiritual aspect as well, because I just take it how they gave it to me, which was like, it's always gonna be with you, within you, and yeah, just be aware of it. That's a form of prayer or a form of practice, I would imagine. Just sitting consciously and thinking about it. You know, so yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh,
but like,
yeah. Okay, now let me ask you.
For practicing, there's just mind. I'm mindful of it a lot.
Let me ask a question, right? So, what's the one question if you had to ask God about religion? What's the one question? I know you have 1,000, but the one question that you always want to ask a supreme being, whether it's God, Velingange, Allah, you know, what's that one question?
Why shorten a lifespan?
Wow.
Yeah. Why end a life?
Let me add to this, right? I was having a discussion with my wife the other day, and I was saying, you know, how does a child of 3 months die? You know, and this God is supposed to be the God of love. I mean, I speak from a Christian background because I know no other like.
I hear you. I get you.
Now, why a child of 3 months? Why do they have to die? What have they done to the world? What, you know? Why be carried in a stomach, in somebody's tummy for 9 months, only for you to come into the world and die? But anyway, that's a
yeah, it's a complicated question. Like I say, for me, like, I mean, the question is just like, why create and have like a beginning and end? Why not just create for eternity? Why not? Why was there like a beginning of life? Why is there a beginning and then you know, you grow up, you deteriorate. I mean, you start off fresh and then you deteriorate at the end, and then that's it. You know, like why not like continue?
No, but
that would be the question.
but there's religions that believe in reincarnation. Is reincarnation not a continuum like you would like?
I mean, other religions believe in that. So, hey, I mean, like I said, when we were learning about art history, we touched on many religions. So we got to understand like what people's beliefs are, why they went on to that, what happened, what led to that. So yes, there is religions that believe in reincarnation, and I don't know, like I won't say I won't rubbish it, and I won't condone it, or I won't even acknowledge it to be something for me. I just think, to be honest, when it ends, it's just that's it.
Okay. Now, before we jump on an ad break, let me ask you this question: what has the world taught you that you would not have necessarily learned here in South Africa? How has your world perspective changed?
First of all, like I'm in a country here which is staunch, which is built on religious, or which is built on Christian norms and ideals. I'm in a place where it's the center of the influence of the Catholic Church, I would imagine, the Protestant. I don't know, the groups in there, all these guys are all around here. And today, 2021, I don't see the practice of it as much as I see it back at home in Africa. That's just my opinion. I don't know, somebody will tell me something different. But the society that I live around here does not go fully in on religion as much as people back at home would like to think. I think we go way hardcore into it, and that's where the teaching comes in for me, that actually we took something, or we were taught something, or something was brought onto us which necessarily does not function the same way for them, which is strange.
No. I know for a fact that, when I lived in the UK, I lived in the UK for quite a long time, and people never went to church.
No.
Literally,
but
people never went to church.
Exactly. But we know about the Wesley brothers, we know about the Martin Luthers, we know about all these people, but we find,
because literally, my house is here. Next door was an Anglican church, and every Sunday, man, there was like 3 people, and it's a huge church. It's like 1,000-seater church, but only 3 people went there, and I started asking questions, of the indoctrination that we had as a black nation. We are mad about this, fanatical about religion, and that to me is a good thing, but it's also a very bad thing, because people, even when a pastor does something wrong, they won't rebuke him, because of this fanaticism that they have. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Just to add in, just to chime in on what you just said there. If you go see how wrong it's like, the Vatican. It's mind-boggling to me as an artist, and also as somebody that maybe at some point just wants to figure out what the religion is about. Just walking around that area, they're just like mind boggles. The amount of wealth that's it. The power that the church has got. The fact that they have like a city as a country inside a city country, and they run themselves.
Yeah, no.
And then I compare it with Catholic Church. where I went, just around the Kutawa Coastal Station. And when I look at that church and I compare it to the church that I've seen around here, I'm like, wow, like there's a disconnection.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's amazing.
And a forced sense of belonging and a disconnection.
No, you know what? Let's jump on another ad break, and then when we come back, right, we'll talk about what you just pointed out, that the Roman Catholic Church, right, is so wealthy. The Vatican is so wealthy, right? But in our communities, there's so much poverty in the church, and because people here don't want to preserve their, anything. They don't have life policies. They don't have inheritances for their kids, because according to Christianity, we're all going to heaven very soon, 2,000 years later. So after the break, we chat some more. And about arty stuff. This is the point where we must talk about arty stuff. You're an artist.
All right, cool. All right, man.
Head out. Get wild. Take your pack on a prowl and turn every trip into an adventure. Make the streets your playground in the new Audi Q7. A majestic 7-seater equipped with the Audi Presence front safety feature, 48-volt mild hybrid technology, and the latest MMI touch response operating system. The new Audi Q7, built for city jungle.
You're listening to Vuga Online.